I want to start tonight by talking to a man who stood up to him. Rusty Bowers is also a Republican. He was Speaker of Arizona's House of Representatives when President Trump got in touch after the last election, telling him to cancel huge numbers of Biden votes on the grounds they were illegal. They were voting by dead people or voting by illegal migrants, and substitute Trump votes instead, but without giving him any proof. But Rusty Bowers is a moral man. He's a Mormon and an independent-minded man, a brave man. And he said no. He then faced the most appalling abuse. And he joins me now. Rusty Bowers, great privilege to have you on the show tonight. Can you tell people listening what actually happened when you got that phone call from President Trump, as he then was?
Well, it's getting a little old. It's been a while. We'd come home from church. Shot on my blue screen, that little Bluetooth device in my car. I took the call from the White House. Giuliani was on the phone. They congratulated me for all my sterling accomplishments. And I said, okay, so where are we going? I thanked them for their getting out the vote. I said, So how can I help? And, well, we've got fraud in Arizona, and they launched on the fraud description. And I said, so what is it that you want? Well, we want a committee meeting to show the fraud with the hope that you will then use an arcane Arizona law to take out Biden's electors and put in Trump's electors. And I said, well, I've never heard of any such law, and I'm not doing anything like that against the Constitution. So it was, the conversation got a little tight.
And Rusty, you had been alongside Donald Trump. You'd seen MAGA people in the flesh. You had been a supporter. You knew what might happen if you went up against this man at that point. Was there any moment when you thought, do you know what, I'm just going to have to bow the knee, knuckle under, and do what he wants?
No. Never was any moment.
And so you stood up to him, and it got quite rough, I think, in Arizona for you and for your family. Tell me a little bit about what happened as a result of your decision not to bow the knee.
Well, it wasn't just me. I had two assistants in my office who tried to handle 20,000 emails, 10,000 voicemails, voice calls, 5,000 to 6,000 texts, because my enemies had given out my texts, all of them negative and very profane and very threatening every day for weeks. And then my home, we had visits from wonderfully energized friends and neighbors. Some with guns.
Some with guns? Wow.
Yeah.
And you live out of the way in Arizona, in quite a tough landscape. It's a hard place to live. Just tell me a little bit about your kind of physical and moral surroundings, the kind of guy you are.
Well, I don't claim to be any moral giant. I was raised by goodly parents. They were wonderful, hardworking people. I learned how to work as a child in the trades. My father was a very honorable coach, and in the summers we learned how to work, and we depended on each other. And he stressed, and both of my parents, tell the truth, do what's right. At the end of the day, when you say your prayers, have a clear conscience as best you can, that type of thing. So, well, and the desert is a tough place.
Yeah. Good for you, Rusty. So Arizona today, the early indications that we've been seeing is that Trump's going to do pretty well in Arizona. We don't know how he's going to do across the country. But given what's happened then, how concerned are you about what follows a very, very close result?
Well, I can't say that I'm super concerned personally, but my family is. And they worry about if it doesn't happen. I haven't been vocal or tried to grab some big profile out of all of this. I am concerned more if Trump loses than if Trump wins as far as social reaction. But it's very, very polarized, which is sad. And
And presumably there is somebody doing your old job at the moment, wondering how to respond if there is another such telephone call. Though, of course, in this case, it wouldn't be from the president. It would be from the candidate.
Yeah. But the person who took my place, Ben Toma, is a first-generation American from Romania. He knows what communism's about. He knows how to hard knocks. And he's a man of impeccable integrity. So whatever it happens, I know he'll do the right thing.
And, well, that's very, very good to hear. Do you have any sense in your waters, as we say here, about what's going to happen later tonight?
I don't think it'll be tonight in Arizona. I think it'll take us 2 or 3 days to get the counting done, if not more. And if it does, the longer it takes, the more people scream about cheating and all that. So I'm hoping that it's fast. I think people are a little tired of the cheating angle, and they would like to have this over, and let's move forward. I generally feel that way. And I hope that that's true. That would be great.
And in your instinct, are you going to be moving forward with President Trump or President Harris?
I would not have thought that Trump would rebound to the extent that he has. And President Harris, were she to be president, I worry globally about a weak Harris, and I worry globally about a little more cavalier Trump. And I think that we all, UK and around the world, need to be a little more prepared personally and in our communities for hard things. And you've been through them and we've been through them, but we should just be prepared, but we should be kind and help each other.
And Rossi, what do you mean by hard things?
If we say to Mr. Putin, go ahead and take Ukraine, we will lose the last vestige of respectability, which took a huge beating in Afghanistan when we left under such quick terms. We will lose face. I have been interviewed, and I didn't know all this, by dozens of countries around the world. And I always ask them, what are you talking to me for? I'm a little cowboy kid, Arizona, boots, cactus. Why me? And they said, well, some of the things you've already talked about. But but they say, when you get a cold, we get pneumonia. And if America isn't there to say no, we are all in very precarious situations, from Iran to Russia to China, and then all of their appointed militia-bearing fans around the world. It's a rough world. It's rough.
It's a rough world. That's a sobering but very important way to end. Rusty Bowers, thank you very much for talking to LBC tonight.